and legacy of this prestigious prize. And we're thrilled to have you here with us. At Nigeria LNG, safety is not just a policy, it is a culture. As we begin, it is important that we are familiar with safety protocols for today's event. You're currently in the Moremi meeting room at Sheraton Hotels, ground floor. There is no planned drill today. So if you hear any alarm, please take it seriously. In the event that the alarm goes off, please exit the entrance of this hall and walk your way to the main entrance into the hotel, and then proceed to the foyer where you'll be directed to the muster point. Please stay there and be accounted for. You will get further instructions in the event of an emergency. The convenience, the restroom, is just outside this hall. If you step out the entrance, go straight to just walk past this bar right here, and then turn to your right. You will see the restroom for male first, and then the next door is the restroom for female. I would like to extend our warmest welcome to our media representatives here. Thank you for honoring our invitation, and thank you for your presence. Your stories have been the heartbeat of the Nigeria Prize for Science, bringing the brilliance of our scientists into spotlight and showcasing their work to the world. For over 20 years, your coverage has helped illuminate the transformative impact of this prize on our society. And we are very, 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 very grateful for your unwavering support. Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for yourselves. Today we're here because of science. Science is more than a field of study. It is a beacon of hope and progress. As an American chemical engineer and biochemist once said, science and technology are the basis for many solutions to our social problems. Also, an unknown author also put it this way, and beautifully so, that science is one of the greatest collective endeavors of humanity. And it enhances our understanding of the world, answers questions, and offers solutions that benefit millions. We're here to answer questions. And that's why we're here today. 20 years ago, Nigeria LNG, in collaboration with visionary minds in the scientific community, launched the Nigeria Prize for Science. The goal was simple yet profound: to inspire innovation, provide solutions to critical developmental challenges, and elevate the standard of living for our people. Through this prize, we sought to re-energize the scientific community to seek solutions to our nation's pressing issues. Today, as we celebrate 20 years anniversary of this prize, alongside the Nigeria Prize for Literature, we celebrate 2 decades of achievements, innovation, and relentless pursuit of progress. Please, a round of applause. The prize fosters innovation through competition, driven by the themes that reflect pivotal questions of our time. These themes, carefully curated by our esteemed advisory board, challenge our scientists to push boundaries and redefine what is possible. As we celebrate this milestone, we reflect on 20 years of groundbreaking discoveries, spotlighting our unsung heroes whose work is shaping the future. Now, let's meet the individuals whose vision and leadership have made today's event possible. As I introduce each distinguished guest, please take your seats at the high table. I welcome Mr. Andy Ode to the high table. He's a very familiar face. He's General Manager, External Relations and Sustainable Development at Nigeria LNG, and he's the convener of this gathering. Andy leads a dexterous team that manages the price secretariat and has been a driving force behind today's events and other events linked to the price. He's truly an inspiration to the price. Welcome, sir. I also invite the distinguished Professor Bath Naji, CON. Welcome, sir. My prof. He is the chairman of the Nigeria Prize for Science Advisory Board. He's a renowned scientist and professor of mechanical and industrial engineering. Professor Naji has served in various advisory roles as minister in the Federal Republic of Nigeria and is the founder of a successful independent power transmission station company in Nigeria. Welcome, sir. I invite the delectable Chief Dr. Mrs. Nike Akande, CON. Welcome. Please take your seat, ma'am. A distinguished economist, industrialist, and a two-time minister in Nigeria, Chief Dr. Akande is also the honorary life vice president of the Nigerian Association of Chambers, the Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Mines and Agriculture. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you. I also invite Professor Yusuf Abubakar, OFR, to the high table. A leading expert in animal breeding and quantitative genetics and the president of the Nigerian Institute of Animal Science, Professor Abubakar's work has been recognized across West and Central Africa and is currently a visiting professor at the University of Abuja. Welcome, sir. I also welcome Dr. Sophia Horsford to the high table. She's one of our great supporters. She's a senior management member at Nigeria LNG, and she has also been providing support to the prize behind the scene. Welcome, ma'am. And finally, on the high table, I invite Mrs. Anne-Marie Pamai-Koku. Now, does she need any introduction? She does? A very familiar face, I must say. She is the manager, corporate communication and public affairs at Nigeria LNG. And she is the driving force of the Nigeria Prize, the Nigeria Prize for Science and its sisters prize. That's the Nigeria Prize for Literature and the Nigeria Prize for Literary Criticism. Madam Anne-Marie, welcome to the high table. Love your dress, by the way. Beautiful. Also permits me to introduce a group of people who have been very instrumental to the 2024 edition of the prize. I'll start with Professor Francisca Nneka Okeke. Please, ma'am, stand to be recognized. You're wondering who she is. Now, she is the chairman panel of judges for this year's competition. Please, a louder round of applause. A distinguished professor of science and engineering in the Department of Physics and Astronomy at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. She holds multiple degrees from the University of Nigeria, including a PhD in ionospheric geophysics. Ma'am, did I get that right? Good. Yeah? ionospheric. I see. Huh, good. Professor Keke has published about over 145 research papers and attended numerous national and international conferences. She's renowned for her contribution to physics, particularly in understanding ion currents in the upper atmosphere. Her achievements include the Lockrell UNESCO Award for Women in Science 2013, making her internationally recognized. Professor Keke is a fellow of several prestigious academies, including the World Academy of Science and the African Academy of Sciences. Please, a round of applause for her again. With her on the panel is Professor Abdurrahman Saminu Ibrahim. He's a member of the panel of judges, a professor of soil science at the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, and a former vice chancellor of ATBU 2024 to 2019, 2014, sorry, to 2019. He holds a degree from the University of Maiduguri, or he holds degrees from the University of Maiduguri, Ahmadu Bello University, and the Justus Liebig University, Germany. Did I get that right, sir? Great. He has extensive experience in academia research, having worked at Usman Danfodio University, at Justus Liebig University, and ATBU. He has led numerous funded projects, including those sponsored by Canadian International Development Agency, the European Union, and World Bank. He's also a fellow of the Soil Science Society of Nigeria and other prestigious organizations. Welcome, sir. Also on the panel is Professor Grace Olukyo. Ma'am, did I get that right? Oluko. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you very much. She's a professor of urban planning and environmental management and dean at the Faculty of Environmental Design and Management, Leeds University, Ibadan. She earned a PhD in geography and planning science from the University of Ado-Ekiti and has specialized training from UNESCO, IHE, Netherlands. She's also the co-principal investigator on climate change, on climate-resistant project, Palm Trees, funded by IDRC and UK FCDO, focusing on reducing the impact of climate extreme on marginalized communities in Africa. She is a registered town planner and a fellow of the Institute of Town Planners, the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, with international research affiliations. Welcome, ma'am. Please, a round of applause for the panel of judges. One more, please. One more. You will know why later. You will know why later. Without further ado, I now invite Mr. Andy O'Day, General Manager, External Relations and Sustainable Development at Nigeria LNG, to please deliver his opening remarks.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to say very, very good morning to you. And thank you so much for joining us today. First, to appreciate our friends and colleagues from the media. Like it says, press conference. So it's about what you do, how you do the things you do to support the prizes, especially the prize for science. So I say thank you very much on behalf of my colleagues from LLNG for always being with us and supporting the prizes, especially the Nigeria Prize for Science. To the adjudication team, as usual, every year the advisory board identifies prominent Nigerians who have excelled in their fields, depending on the theme for the year. To say a very big thank you to the advisory board and for nominating and supporting the adjudication team, a panel of judges for 2024. Thank you so much for coming and joining us this morning. I know that Elkanah said there's a reason why he said they should clap twice, because a lot of work has gone into the process for 2024. And of course, the advisory board for the Nigeria Prize for Science, led by Professor Barton Naji, Thank you so much, and good morning. I'll say welcome. He has a speech that will touch on why we're here today. But just for me is to say thank you to everyone for coming, and to my colleagues in NLNG who have been managing the prizes administratively. Thank you so much, and good morning to you. I have a very short speech. Recall that in 2004, about 20 years ago, Professor Alfred Akpoveta Susu, interestingly, he was the last chairman of the advisory board for the Nigeria Prize for Science, just before Professor Bat Naji. Professor Susu and his doctoral student, Kingsley Abulemen, they won the maiden edition of the Nigeria Prize for Science. At that time, it was $20,000. Interestingly, too, same time, a lot of people, critics, friends, said, you know what, we don't think this will last for too long. Today, we are celebrating the 20th year of the Nigeria Prize for Science. So here we are. But it wouldn't have been possible if we didn't have the quality of members on the advisory board, the level of integrity, the commitment they had to ensure that the Nigeria Prize for Science just remains what it is, a prize for excellence, a prize to support how and why we should improve the quality of lives of our people. Today, not only has the 20,000 prize money increased to $100,000, 17 other winners have emerged from the prize, from which many groundbreaking research and innovative solutions have been profiled. I'm indeed proud that the Nigeria Prize for Science, like its sister prizes, the Nigeria Prize for Literature, the Nigeria Prize for Literary Criticism, have left great footprints in the sands of time in Nigeria. Nigeria appreciates all of you all for the great strides we have made. And I'm particularly grateful to the chairman of the advisory board, Professor Bat Naji, CON, a foremost Nigerian scientist. And I'm not taking it from you, by the way, Elkanah, but I'll just repeat it because it means a lot to the prize. Professor Bat Naji, foremost Nigerian scientist, first Nigerian robotic engineer, former science and technology minister, former minister for power, founder and chairman of Geometric Power Limited. I say all of this to say that your level of integrity has sustained the Nigeria Prize for Science. Thank you very much, sir. I also appreciate his team members in the advisory board. They are on their own right, or in their own right, distinguished Nigerians who have contributed in no small way. Chief Dr. Nike Akonde, CON. Two-time Minister of Industries, and of course, Professor Abubakar, OFR, accomplished and internationally recognized quantitative genetics and animal breeder, scientist, teacher, and administrator. Let me go back a little bit. I also want to remember, appreciate, and recognize our former chairman, a member of the advisory board and the science committee. In the early days of the prize, the science committee helped to shape what we have today as the Nigeria Prize for Science. Especially to recognize and thank one of Nigeria's best, late Professor Emeritus Umaru Shehu, CFR, of blessed memory. As the first chairman of the science committee, he led the conceptualization of the prize, and as the first judge to award the first prize, he led the conceptualization of the prize, and as the first judge, laid the foundation for integrity, transparency, and steadfastness that the prize is known for today. Now, to the business of today. The theme for this year's prize is innovations and technologies for reducing the effects of climate change. This theme is apt because the world today focuses on how to tackle issues arising from climate change, especially reduction of carbon footprint. Between February and April 30th, 2024, 51 entries were submitted for the competition for this year, out of which three were found to be of merit. I must praise the professionalism displayed by Chairman of the panel of judges, Professor Francisca Okeke, and her panel members. Today, if any of the entries is found worthy of the prize, it is indeed deserving because of the quality of work that they put into adjudicating the entries that came in. Well, I promise not to keep you waiting any longer because really why we're here today is to know whether there is a winner or no winner. If there's no winner, we just have lunch and we leave. That would be too quick. If there's a winner, again, we'll celebrate. I just want to specially thank members of the press. Again, the media deserves special appreciation. It is because of your work. It is because of your reportage and your support. And sometimes a bit of criticism here and there on how we can improve on the prizes and the entries and the work that we do, that we're still here 20 years after. Indeed, members of the press have made several inputs and helped the prizes to thrive, and I'm immensely grateful to them. And all gentlemen, would they say to be sensitive, all the gentle people of the press gathered here today for this event, I say thank you very much, and I want to seize the opportunity to now call on Professor Bart Naji, Chairman of the Advisory Board for the Nigeria Prize for Science, to make his presentation on whether there is a winner or no winner. Prof, thank you very much, sir, and good morning again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Andy Ode. As Mr. Andy Ode has alluded to, it is now time to hear from a key figure who has been instrumental in steering the prize to its current height. Please join me in welcoming the chairman of the advisory board, Professor Bart Naji, for his announcement on the outcome of the 2024 edition of the prize.
Thank you very much. First, let me really appreciate Mr. Andy Ode for the wonderful work he and his team, the Secretariat, have been doing to ensure that this prize remains pure and with high integrity. So we thank you very much. We thank your colleagues, Dr. Hochfall and Anne-Marie, and all the Secretariat members that have been supporting this great work. All the way down to the people who follow us, including transportation, to bring us from various places. So we thank you. We thank you very much. My colleagues, Andy has talked about my distinguished colleagues on the advisory board. We really have ensured that we follow the prescriptions of what should make a science prize be a world prize, international as it should be. And so I thank my sister, Chief Dr. Nike Akonde, and Professor Yusuf Abubakar for the wonderful work they've been doing on the advisory board. Now, gentlemen of the press, as Andy said, really without what you've been doing to support the prize, people wouldn't know the importance of what NLNG has done to ensure that this prize persists for 20 years. It is your promotion. It is how you have been given enlightenment about it in the world out there that's made all the difference. So we would like to encourage you to continue to do the same thing. So now, on to my presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you for being part of the historic event, which also coincides with 20 years of successful administration of this prestigious prize. I want to state unequivocally that this prize is not just the biggest scientific prize in Africa and one of the biggest in the world, but has contributed in no small way towards the advancement of scientific research, innovation, and technology in Nigeria and the world over. A clear demonstration that Nigeria LNG is indeed helping to build a better Nigeria. The Nigeria Prize for Science is an annual prize aimed at stimulating the advancement and application of science and technology in order to help in addressing issues that are vital to development of Nigeria and improvement in the standards of living of the populace. The prize, with its sister prize, the Nigeria Prize for Literature, was established following the approval of the proposal by the company's External Relations Division for reputable prizes for science and literature for Nigeria by the Board of Directors of Nigeria LNG Limited in 2003. The administration of the prize commenced in 2004. The prize celebrates excellence in scientific breakthroughs and honors scientists from anywhere in the world, who help find solutions to a local or Nigerian problem as defined and advertised by the advisory board for the prize. The prize is administered on behalf of Nigeria LNG by the Advisory Board for Science, which I am honored to currently chair, which my sister, Chief Dr. Mrs. Nike Akonde, Nigeria's first woman, two-time Minister of Industries and former President of Lagos Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture, and Professor Yusuf Abubakar, a professor of animal breeding and quantitative genetics, and the former executive secretary of Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, and a former coordinator of Agriculture Group Research and Development Standing Committee at the Tertiary Education Trust Fund as members. Currently, the prize goes with an award of $100,000 to the applicants or participants with the winning entry. I know many of us here are doing the conversion quickly. So you can imagine. Last time, the winner was trying to see how he would avoid being a high-priced kidnap victim. The 2024 cycle of Nigeria Prize for Science with the theme Innovations and Technologies for Reducing the Effect of Climate Change started with the release of the call for entries in February 2024. Acceptance of entries closed at 12 midnight on the 30th of April 2024. Subsequently, a panel of judges made up of 3 very distinguished professors in relevant areas of science was appointed by the advisory board of Nigeria Prize for Science and the Nigeria LNG Limited. The selection by the advisory board reflects geo-ethnic and gender balance. We are usually very, very rigorous in selecting the panel. I would have to say that without the quality selection of the panel, the whole prize would not really work. The prize wouldn't work effectively. So one, we're rigorous about it. Integrity is critical. We also keep them quiet until, like now, this is the first time they're being announced. So the distinguished panel members, obviously, have been discussed, but I will just have to highlight them. Professor Francisca Nneka Okeke, Fellow, the World Academy of Science, Fellow Academy of Science, Fellow African Academy of Sciences, she is chairman. Professor Saminu Abdulrahman Ibrahim, Fellow Soil Science Society of Nigeria, Fellow Academy of Natural Sciences, Science and Engineering. And that's the one from Germany, which he would probably pronounce better. Professor Grace Olukoy. I think I've done better than, yes. Fellow, Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, registered a town planner with a Town Planners Registration Council of Nigeria, Fellow, African Climate Change Fellowship. They are members of the panel of judges, very distinguished indeed. An inaugural meeting was held in Lagos on 9th May 2024 at this hotel between the NLNG team, the panel of judges, and the advisory board of the Nigeria Prize for Science, during which the panel of judges developed the 2024 Nigeria Prize for Science entries evaluation criteria, which were approved by the advisory board. Now, a list of 153 entries received was shared electronically to the panel of judges. Of this number, 51 entries were found to be valid and progressed for adjudication. The advisory board approved the criteria developed by the panel of judges for the adjudication process. The criteria include screening and core criteria, and they are as follows. 1, academic track record. 2, quality. 3, recognitions. 4, uniqueness. 5, innovation. 6, impact. 7, commercialization. 8, soundness. And 9, patents. Individual scores by the 3 judges were submitted electronically to the Nigeria Prize for Science Secretariat. Now, there had to be shortlisting From the long list, entries that met the criteria for shortlist, that is, the pass mark of 75%, were considered by the 3 judges, and the average scores were determined from the individual scores of the 3 judges. After the evaluation, these 3 entries were shortlisted based on mean scores of the 3 judges. 1, these are the 3 that came through. Process intensification technology for greenhouse gas emission control in power generation and industry for sustainable fuel production, peak fuel, by Eni Oko, Olajide Otitoju, and Mehong Wang. That's one of the 3. The second one, design and development of a biodigester for production of biogas from dual wastes by Otanocha Omonio and Sonny E. UK. That was second. And the third, utilization of solid residue from hydrothermal liquefaction of breadfruit pulp for the production of bio-brisket using cassava starch as binder by Chidedum Mbemena. The 3 shortlists were further subjected to thorough scientific analysis and full-scale evaluation using the approved assessment criteria. At the end of the intensive investigations, the judges independently affirmed that entries from Enioko and Olajide Otitoju, which made use of research findings of Mehong Wang in carbon capture, utilization, and storage, was ahead of others. This entry is titled Process Intensification Technology for Greenhouse Gas Emission Control in Power Generation and Industry for Sustainable Fuel Production, peak fuel. The Secretariat collated the entries sent by the judges. The collated scores by the judges were presented to the members of the advisory board for consideration. The advisory board affirmed the recommendation of the panel of judges, which put forward a joint entry by Eniokum, Olajide Otitoju, and Mehong Wang, titled Process Intensification Technology for Greenhouse Emission Control in Power Generation and Industry for Sustainable Fuel Production, peak fuel, as the most outstanding entry in the 2024 the Nigeria Prize for Science. Enioko is a senior lecturer or associate professor in chemical engineering at Newcastle University, the United Kingdom. Olajide Otitoju is a senior research associate at the University of Sheffield in the United Kingdom, while Professor Mehong Wang is a professor of process and energy systems engineering with specialization in carbon capture, utilization and storage at the School of Chemical Material and Biological Engineering, University of Sheffield, United Kingdom. The technology involves carbon capture, utilization, and storage, where carbon dioxide emissions from industries are captured to make products or stored in the ground, thereby providing a transition towards achieving net zero emissions targets. The peak fuel concept is a technology in which flue gases from power plants, petrochemical, cement, refinery, or heavy industries enter the rotating packed bed, where it's called RPB, where carbon dioxide is absorbed using a solvent, for example, MEA. The carbon dioxide-rich solvent, therefore, goes to the electrolysis, to electrolyzer unit, where the carbon dioxide is absorbed or dissolved from the solvent through reaction with hydrogen to produce methanol, which is a chemical of fuel. The methanol can then be directly blended with diesel or sold as a product on its own. So that's a big difference, because a lot of, when Nigeria is part of the decarbonization process in the atmosphere. So it's part of the world, and you know about the big conference held in Dubai recently. It's all about that. So emission of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere is the main issue. And so this process not only helps to reduce carbon in the atmosphere, but converts the carbon by this process into a product, which is further fuel. So the technology was used directly in the Cyclone development by Carbon Clean Solutions UK. So it's already being used. Carbon Clean Solutions UK Limited. And the compact carbon capture plant developed by Baker Hughes, which is a giant company in Norway. When fully implemented, the peak fuel technology will assist in decarbonizing the power, transportation, and industrial sectors, which currently have combined net contribution of over 40% of Nigeria's total emissions, about 51 million ton carbon dioxide per year. The peak fuel implementation will fully decarbonize the power and industrial sectors and deliver up to 20% decarbonization of the diesel-fueled transportation and household SME electricity generators through the supply of cleaner diesel. Based on current cost estimates for the RPB system, which is around 53% less compared to competing technologies, the peak fuel could reduce the cost of decarbonization in these sectors by 30 to 40%, which will translate to huge reductions in the national budgetary requirement for implementing the Nigeria Energy Transition Plan, equivalent to $120 to $140 billion, and achieving the 2060 net zero target. In addition, the production of cleaner methanol and diesel from peak fuel technology will fully incentivize the decarbonization system for industry and the power sector without requiring government subsidies to be profitable. The current business model for carbon capture is riding on substantial government subsidies, which is virtually unavailable in most countries and has been the bane of successful commercial development of carbon capture technologies. By incentivizing decarbonization through the peak fuel strategy, the expectation is that it will stimulate investments, create jobs, contribute to GDP, and consequentially enhance the image of Nigeria in the emerging low-carbon global economy. The cleaner diesel production will also assist in reducing Nigeria's diesel import bill, which is currently over $2.5 billion annually, with an estimated 20% diesel replacement with methanol. This will save about maybe $500 million in forex, stabilizing the local currency and helping grow the local economy. Consequently, the advisory board, in agreement with the panel of judges, recommends the entry by Eni Oko, Olajide Otitoju, and Mehon Wang, titled Process Intensification Technology for Greenhouse Emission Control in Power Generation and Industry for Sustainable Fuel Production, that is peak fuel, for the award of 2024 Nigeria Prize for Science. In concluding this presentation, I want to thank Nigeria LNG for the sterling determination to go on in sponsorship of this prize despite the economic upheavals of today. To you, gentlemen of the press, I also, on behalf of the advisory board, thank you for the publicity you have so far given the prize and urge you not to relent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. That was the chairman of the advisory board. He has made his announcement. How many of us understood what he said? So I'll give my own understanding. I'll give my own understanding. While you operate in an industry, you emit carbon. You catch the carbon. You do stuff with it. You put some inside the ground. You carry others. Put it through a machine. Turn it into some sort of a chemical. Methanol. Right? Yeah, methanol. Take that methanol. Mix it with diesel. Create another fuel. That will help us reduce our diesel importation, improve energy use and utilization in the country, and takes care of one of the most significant parts of this whole thing, reducing our carbon footprint. That is what this is all about. Thank you, sir, for that announcement. So today we honor the 2024 winners of the Nigeria Prize for Science. Eni Oko, Olajide Otitoju, and Mehon Wang. Their project PeakFuel holds transformative potential and could play a significant role in helping Nigeria achieve its 2060 net zero target, as the chairman has said. Please, and please, this is streamed live. If you don't know, they might be listening. A lot of people are watching. Let's give a big round of applause again. Let us show them that we honor our scientists. Let us show them that we appreciate their work and their time. Let us show them that we appreciate their curiosity and their search for solutions. We will win. We will prevail. Thank you, Advisory Board, and thank you, panel of judges, for your work. Thank you. Now, to seek clarification on what has been said, we open the floor for your questions. Please engage our distinguished guests, our distinguished advisory board members, on the significance of this year's award and what it means for our future. So you raise your hand to signify you have a question, and then I'll take the mic to you. All right, so I'll take first 3, and then next round, another 3, and like that. Okay, so sir, that's 1, 2, and 3. No.
Good morning, sirs. Good morning, panel of judges. My name is Shola Bello. I write for Business Standards. I'm very curious about the development. However, as a typical Nigerian, and as I will always ask, these people, I don't see any Nigerian university that that were mentioned. Maybe some made submission and they couldn't scale through. But what I'm curious about is that this technology is developed in UK. How soon can we take advantage of it in Nigeria here? Yes, they are Nigerians, and I heard the chairman, the chairman saying there is one thing, Baker Hughes is developing something somewhere. Norway. So if Baker Hughes is developing it in Norway, so are we going to wait until when Baker Hughes complete what he's doing before we now begin to do the normal copycat and bring it down here? So that's my question.
Okay. All right, sir. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. You may recall that we said that the award goes to any scientist or anybody out there in the world, not necessarily in Nigeria, but Nigeria would have to have benefit of it. That is, it's a Nigerian problem that's being solved. After all, if you look at, and I did mention it, that Nigeria is part of COPE initiative. It started 30 years ago. COPE is Conference of Parties for reduction of carbon in the atmosphere. Because the whole thing about climate change is about that. So Nigeria is part of that, and anywhere where a technology is developed that does this, it is already worldwide, for worldwide use. So we are benefiting, anybody out there is benefiting, and reduction of carbon in the atmosphere, wherever it is happening, Nigeria is benefiting anyway. But in particular, in Nigeria, so countries will be looking at countries on how they are actually meeting the net zero in progress. And this helps to solve, to address Nigeria's issue, because we're largely an oil and gas country. And this directly applies to what we do. And it's good that NLNG is a gas company, and this is about the use of the technology within the industry as well. So it has direct application. So it doesn't have to be that it was developed here. That's the other point you were making, why Nigerian universities are not listed. It's not about, if it was just only about Nigeria universities, then we may not even have the machinery and technology to actually develop this technology. You understand? So it has to be developed in a place where the system is set up, whether it is in Nigeria or whether it's elsewhere. And it doesn't have to be in Nigerian university. And interestingly, the winners are Nigerians, except for their overall professor, who is a Chinese, working in UK. So I think what NLNG did in establishing this prize is to say, wherever technology is developed but solves Nigeria's problem, then it's okay. Just imagine if malaria cure is developed in China, but we can use it here. It's something as if it was developed here. So that's really the bottom line. So it doesn't have to have been developed by a Nigerian university. It doesn't even have to have collaboration of a Nigerian university. But the application needs to have to be here, and we need to be able to benefit. Thank you.
All right, sir.
Thank you very much, members of the High Table and panel of judges. My name is Soporucha Onwoka. I write for Oracle Newspapers Limited, and I have followed the trends on this panel and what you have been doing, and I commend you with all sincerity. But my concern is that the work we are looking at and the objective of usage to utilization appears to be far flung from our local reality. In Nigeria today, though we are part of the Conference of Parties and we have been attending the conferences with everything we have, local application has not been there. Today, I don't want to go out and reel out industry figures, but we still flare gas abundantly in Nigeria. We still do gas reinjection in huge volumes. So how quickly can we deploy this technology? And what methods, how available will it be to players in the upstream Nigerian petroleum industry? The second leg of my question is that I have, just like I said, I'm one of the oldest people around here in following you. So I have a regular question about application and commercialization, because this thing has to come with budget. Here where the technology is developed, I know who is developing it, I know what they do. They don't come cheap. So how are we going to make it available to players who are still struggling very hard in a very challenging environment? Thank you.
This part of your question, I would probably have the NLNG leadership here address. But on the first part, the gas flaring. The gas flare is a willful economic act in the sense that it's not about what we are talking about here. You have to, it's not even about, well, you could say it is about emission of gas in reduction of CO2. But Nigeria is working in that direction, which is the flare out of gas, which is actually one of the reasons why you have NLNG. NLNG benefits directly from flare out process. And there's a target as to when Nigeria will end that. But it still doesn't stop what they are trying to solve here. Because power plants, if power plants are emitting CO2, whether it is coal-fired, whether it is gas-fired, this is where this technology applies most, whether it is in refinery. So they are applying the technology directly to heavy industries, not about the flare in the oil production. Now, the reinjection of gas you're talking about has to be done because it's part of the process of getting oil out of the ground. So instead of flaring the gas, you're re-injecting the gas. That's a different thing altogether. So I think that you need to separate the issue of gas flare and reinjection from what this technology is supposed to address, because this technology is supposed to directly address carbon emission that, in fact, in the world out there, in developed countries, the CO2 emission is not from oil production. It's really from the industries that operate there, which is where this technology is applying. And and just linked to the question, the previous question, whether it is done by Baker Hughes in Norway or anywhere, it applies to us here. It's the technology. How long will it take us to begin to make use of it? It's there. Once the technology is available, it is now up to us in Nigeria to apply. The main thing is development of the technology, development of the innovation. Once the innovation is available, it's up to us. It not being developed is a barrier. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. So, Puruchi, I will just speak to just one. One around, so what happens? Technology has been found, or innovation has been found. How do we benefit? And how quickly? Honestly, I can't speak to how quickly for two reasons. Let's understand that what the Nigeria Prize for Science does first is to recognize where innovation has happened and how it impacts us. If it is positive, if it is scalable, we go for it. We recognize those who have done it. In this case, the work itself. So that's step one. If there was no winner today, I'm sure we'll not be having this conversation. So there's something. The next thing is, how do you apply? Now, because it's technology, step two for us is advocacy and publicity around the piece of work. Fortunately, we have Chief Dr. Mrs. Nike Akonde here, who has played a very significant role through the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and the network she has. Immediately the announcement is made, post 11th of October, there's going to be a lot of engagement and publicity around the work itself. There will be roadshow. Now the objective is very clear. Get industry to connect with the piece of work and see how it can be implemented. Let me link that to the role we play. But for NLNG, we wouldn't have reduced our gas play in Nigeria by less than 20%, am I correct? It has happened. Now, the technology didn't come from, it came from your university? No. So the technology didn't come from here immediately, but of course, it's been domesticated. LNG is using gas flaring in Nigeria. But that's not to say that the industry itself doesn't need help. And the help the industry needs, and other industries need, is how to reduce emission in the country and everywhere else in the world. So advocacy is important. Now, with that, opportunities will be identified to see how we can implement. We as a company will not do the implementation because, of course, there are other people in the entire value chain that can do that. Now, so the big question, like you've always done for us, the appeal is, let's see how we can promote this piece of work because of the benefits and impact positively on the long term it will have on Nigeria as a country. Prof mentioned about how much we'll be saving. And secondly, what it will do to the environment. So I think the two other stages are advocacy and how industry can be mobilized to take advantage of this piece of work in order to benefit Nigeria and benefit Nigerians. Hope I've helped. Thank you.
All right, sir.
Sorry.
All right.
I want to add a bit more to what the last speaker has said. Your question is, how is the application useful to people in Nigeria? The important thing is that LLNG has made this information available And we depend on you, the press, for advocacy, to let people know what LNG is doing. This application is available, and it has happened in other parts of the world. And it can happen in Nigeria once they know that this information is available. And the benefit, the chairman of advisory board mentioned that reduction in carbon in the atmosphere, very, very important. Cleaner diesel by industry. I was Minister of Industry, and I know that if the diesel is reduced, Forex will be reduced. You know the rate of exchange now. And it will stimulate investment, and there will be job creation. I think LNG should be congratulated for what they are doing. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Next question.
Good morning, sir. Professor Naji. My name is Chika Izora. I write for the leadership newspapers. Let me retweak my question because of some analysis you made when Sopurushi asked the question. Can I reemphasize what you said earlier? This carbon, we capture it, then we capture, then we recycle. Some you re-inject into the ground. Yes, fine and good. In the beginning, my curiosity is, in the beginning when we started flaring gas, nobody knew it was going to significantly affect the atmosphere. Now, have we given it a thought? What this re-injection, in the area of re-injecting gas in oil production, like you said, is to produce more. But re-injecting what we want to avoid going up there into the soil or ground, have we talked about or thought about the significant or whatever impact it will have? I do not know because I'm not a scientist. Secondly, before this technology comes, I thank God that you are a power generator. How will he help? Yes, this is a power generator. So how will he help geometric power? Just tell us a little how this will help in power generation. Thank you.
Thank you. You threw curveballs. But let me go to the issue of re-injection. You know, it's actually the burning of the gas that is about carbon dioxide. It's not the gas itself necessarily, because the gas is something that we make use of in the various ways. So it is the burning, and you see it when you're in the Niger Delta region, that it is that burning that is now generating the CO2 that is the problem. So, but the re-injection is not burning. I mean, the production, those who are producing oil would probably do better than me in this, but I happen to just intuitively can tell you that it's not the one that's generating the CO2. Now, how does it help us? Certainly, if we have this technology, then we at Geometric Power can, because we are producing power using natural gas. Actually, the Geometric Power plant is gas-fired. In our own case, we don't have flare, but if we were to have flare, yes, this would apply. Usually you have flare if, for example, you have impure gas in our industry. If you have impure gas, then you shut down the plant itself and shut down where you're injecting the gas, which is kilometers away, and then you have to exhaust the one that's impure. That could be that place where this technology can now apply. Okay, so, but not for the gas that is going into the turbine to produce power. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, three things happen to prevent flaring. So when gas is coming out, either you flare because you don't need the gas. That's what we've been doing for a long time until LNG came. You flare, you re-inject the gas back into the ground. Or you send it somewhere to liquefy. So those are the three things you do. You either re-inject, you flare, or you gather it for something else, which is, for instance, LNG. Now, the reference to this piece of work. So, yeah, so same thing, you pipe it, either you go into an LNG plant or a power station, or, now, this is not about, so for this piece of work, the gas has already come into, so you already have plants and factories. What is happening here is not necessarily re-injecting it. You are storing it to use it for something else. You're capturing it, storing it to be used immediately for something else. I just wanted to say that to to throw more light on what this piece of work is and what happens to the gas you either find associated with oil, like most of the gas we get, or gas that you just find and you can't do anything with. So either you re-inject, you flare, you liquefy, or you power to send it to power plants where it is used to fire the plant. I hope that clarifies. Thank you.
All right. Please, let me just state clearly that I am here just like you. I heard what the chairman has said. I processed it. And I said, this is the way I think it to be. Please do not quote me. Thank you. Next round, please. And please keep your questions short, straight to the point, because we're running out of time. Thank you.
Well, my name is Success Mogu. I write for Daily Telegraph. I want to congratulate LNG, the board of this assessment, and also the assessors, our panelists, and the winner too, because very importantly, this innovation is what we need now. And if we're able to adopt it, commercialize it, I think it will go a long way in solving a national problem in this country. Having said that, I will direct my first call, it's not a question, to our distinguished Professor Bart, who did a great work when he was the minister. And he has also done something proud for this nation through geometrics. Congratulations, sir. From what we heard here, no Nigerian university qualified, even though it's not specific for Nigerian universities. I think there should be a clarion call for our Nigerian universities to rise up to the challenge to ensure that possibly next time they present a formidable entry that could be processed. So I want to ask if our former minister, and I will say that because you represented the Federal Republic of Nigeria, will challenge our universities in this country to come up with innovations such that their entry could be qualified, because it's not a good story for our Nigerian universities that none of their entries, if they did present, qualified. The second one, I'm not being gender-based, but I'm sure that if you look at here, you see that at the high table, there is good representation. At the panelists, there is good representation. I never had any female being among the 3 people that won this award, this current one. So Mama Nike Will you, no, I'm not being a chauvinist. I prefer a situation where we gather together. You have mother, you have wife, you have children. So it's a global world. So they need to be integrated. Mama Nike, are you challenging the women folk to also rise up to the technological demand to ensure that next time, at least if we have 3 winners, 1 should be a female? And finally, to LNG, wonderful innovation you have done. We have other problems that need attention. We have pollution, the environment, waste pollution all over. And also, there is another innovation that is going on in the world where hydro is being used to generate power, even to power cars. Are you bringing such ideas for us to have competitors who will go into that to solve such problems? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you know, there's no limit as to where research is conducted. So Nigerian universities are absolutely open to do research in the theme that we are engaging for that year. So it's about whether they are doing research in that particular area, and the level of research, where their research will rise to the occasion, using your term, of being a winner, being the best. Because we can't now say, oh, we will do, what is it that Americans call to equalize affirmative action. We will not do affirmative action. It's not correct in science. We don't do affirmative action in science. Otherwise, we will never have been able to progress in medicine, in engineering. If you imagine if you're flying a plane that was built by affirmative action. So no affirmative action here, okay? It has to be the best in that particular technology. And we have said, we in Nigeria should be able to benefit from it. Now, in terms of team, the team of researchers, there's no restriction as to whether the team at the University of Sheffield could have included a female or females. No, nothing like that. When I was a professor in America, we had, for the PhDs and postdoctoral scientists, we used to have both male and female. So if they happen to be part of it, they will be listed. So there's no restriction now on this issue. But what you probably may be talking about, and I know my sister would probably make comment about it, is that we need to come here and encourage women to be active in scientific inquiry, in engineering. Okay, that's really where you can now get this sort of thing. Because what has happened is that if you really look at the biography of the researchers that won this, the Nigerians that are there, they left here, they went to school here, then they went abroad. What is stopping the women from doing the same thing? Okay, following up to do doctorate in whichever university abroad, and being part of coming up with technologies like this. I don't see anything restricting anybody. So, yeah. Yes.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank you for being gender sensitive. Thank you very much. And I would like to state that Nigerian women are capable, they are able, and they are willing to contribute their quota to a better Nigeria. Thank you. This competition, this technology, this innovation is not restricted to only Nigeria. It's for anywhere in the world. And women that are in universities can also apply. The panel of judges received a lot of applications, and they have just chosen the best person. And I hope next time women will be encouraged and they will be part of the winners. I'm also involved in, I'm a pro-chancellor of a university. I will spread the news. There's so many people here who will spread the news, and we also depend on you, the press, to let people know what LNG is doing for a better Nigeria, and for women also for being, to contribute more to their quota. You can see Nigerian women are doing well. Even in the world, we are going to have a woman as President of United States of America. Thank you for your kind attention.
Let me just, before Andy comments, that I think we missed something in terms of the gender balance. You have to remember that the panel of judges have 2 women and 1 man. And that the chairman of panel of judges is a woman. And it's about expertise and competence. That's why they are here. And they are scientists par excellence. So let's not forget that.
Thank you. Success, something you said about the other problems. Yes, indeed, we have other challenges as a country. And that's the reason why on an annual basis, the advisory board determines a theme to address specific national issue. In 2023, the focus was on health. And of course, we're all aware of the celebrated winning by Professor Hippolyte Amadi, where he invented almost, someone said the least expensive incubator or respirator for newly born babies, saved lives across the country and all of that. So that's an example. So every year, the advisory board determines an issue to focus on. This year was on climate change and zero emission as much as possible. Oil LNG on its own, we do a lot of CSR, and our focus is driven by 4 specific areas: health, education, economic empowerment, and infrastructure. Today, we are doing the hospital support program where in the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, I've identified teaching hospitals where we have gone to intervene based on specific needs analysis. I think only 2 left out of the 12 that we're working on. Signed the MOU about 4 months ago, and we expect that what is left as 2 or 3 should be commissioned between end of this year and first quarter of next year. So we are aware of what the issues are, but we're doing all that we can as a company as part of our tagline of helping to build a better Nigeria. But for the prizes, if you go to the website for the Nigeria prizes, you would find out that we have had winners in the science prize who are residents in Nigeria, who are within Nigeria universities, at a point where they won the prizes for Nigeria Prize for Science, they won it from within Nigeria universities. The prize is not awarded to universities, it's awarded to pieces of work anywhere they are. In this case, someone said, thank God we have Nigerians involved as part of a piece of work that's been recognized and presented with the award today or announced today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I can confirm to you that I think Dr. Kingsley Abolime is still in the country, working hard in a Nigerian university. He was the first winner alongside Professor Susu. So I just have only opportunity for 2 questions, just last 2. And please, brevity, please. Thank you very much. Yeah. And then you next.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So my question just has to do with the numbers. I was really hoping that Chairman would say there is not going to be any winner. So I can, yes. I was already looking at Mr. Akunda, so I'll collect his cap and take some money along home. But in terms of numbers, you talked about part of the impact that the price has had over the past 20 years. But I just wanted to just give us some specifics. So for example, you said one of the benefits is that the price is going to, create more jobs. So can we have some numbers to that? Yes, Chairman mentioned it in his speech, one of the benefits.
Yes, that is the winning work.
The winning work?
The winning work.
Okay, it's going to create jobs.
Yes.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, so over the past 20 years, for example, so like through the beneficiaries of those prizes. So for example, if we look at maybe like, for example, the Tony Elumelu Foundation, when we say there is a prize winner, there's usually like a figure, maybe like after 4 years to say, this person was the beneficiary of this prize, has created through his business, has empowered about 3,000 persons. So just a figure to that, since it's your 20th, your 20th year anniversary of this prize. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. You want him to ask the last question and then we respond? All right. Go ahead.
Good morning, Chair, panel of judges, and my colleagues. Interestingly, my question is a leg of his own question. And I'm glad you mentioned Professor Soso. He's one of the first winners. And if I remember correctly, his research was based on pipeline, pressure in pipeline and brakes and something like that. And I noticed that till today, we still have pipeline vandalism, And apart from the professor who did something about premature babies, I doubt if any of the other winners have really done something with their win. So I'm wondering if LNG would now have a kind of, should I call it, a kind of yardstick to measure, or maybe even in the price. Every year you say that, okay, after 4 years, you're supposed to have done something with this price. Or, at least there should be a yardstick to show that the price is actually beneficial. Because I don't know, maybe I'm
Okay.
not paying attention.
All right, thank you very much. That will be the last question. Again, let me restate. Please do not quote me. And Mr. Ted, you're looking at me as if I'm going to answer that question, please. All right, sir, over to you.
I want to challenge everyone here, including NLNG. Maybe something that I'll speak to just one of the prizes. The one you talked about, Professor Susu. It was his job, that piece of work is to detect leak. That job will not go and catch. It's to detect leak due to pressure drop and all of that. And to a large extent, something that would work or something that works. Professor Hippolyte Amadi's piece of work was very clear. The advisory board last year said we need an invention that is working, is making impact. Over the years, since he started that piece of work, and that thing has been deployed, over 500 babies' lives have been saved. That's just an example. But when I started by saying that I want to challenge us, apart from the good work you've done, and my colleagues in LNG will probably find a way to do something. Let's begin to follow the works. Follow the works. So I would, in 2025, when we gather like this in 2025, I would like when hands are raised for colleagues in the press to say, you know what, I followed this piece of work, or have followed another piece of work that won the prize 5 years ago, and this is what I've seen as impact. Because really, while the board nominates a theme, the advisory board selects a winner, we all need to come together to begin to chase the impact of what's going on. Whatever it is, that is, I won't say that is your responsibility, it is our responsibility to do that. And whatever we need to do to make that happen, I'm sure my colleagues in the communications team within LLNG will provide the necessary support to make that happen. Whether creating linkages, identifying where these scientists are, or what's happening to their work. So I think it's a challenge for us going into 2025. If we do that, honestly, most of these questions we probably won't have, or we'll challenge the pieces of work much more deeper than we're doing today. So thank you very much for bringing that up. Thank you.
There's another piece of work just to highlight the energy storage. I think it was about 3 or so years ago. Done by a professor at a university in the Netherlands, but a Nigerian nonetheless. So, you know, that technology works in the same way like the chip, the miniaturization of the chip, that every 18 months something new will come. And what comes may not necessarily have been invented by the same company, because there's competition out there. But each contribution improves the status quo, okay? So in the same way, the energy storage work done by that professor in the Netherlands has contributed to improvement in energy storage for solar systems, solar panels. And I wouldn't be surprised if since then additional work had been done. So if you go to check with such a person or on such technology, you might find that there's real contribution that will be made, but it disseminates within the industry, and others may have added to it, or that particular individual and his researchers may have also added. That's how it works. The thing is it an innovation? Has it advanced the industry? That's what we're about here. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Advisory Board. Thank you very much, panel of judges, senior members, management team from the Nigeria LNG Limited. Thank you. I would say that I've identified scoops from what has been said, and I think we can expand on that as you write. Cleaner energy, implications for cleaner energy, a cleaner energy industry itself and the potentials. Women in science, and Nigerian universities and science research. We can all follow up on those stories. I think they are major stories. And there are things that can come out from this. Let's create a conversation from this announcement. It is big. Science, I mentioned earlier about what science is to mankind. We should not take it lightly if we want to progress and move forward. With that, I hope this conversation, this engagement has been enriching and inspiring for you, as it has been for all of us. To deliver the vote of thanks, please join me in welcoming Mrs. Anne-Marie Pamaikuku, Manager, Corporate Communication and Public Affairs. Please.
Thank you, Elkanah. So as much as it has been very engaging and very lively, Elkanah calls it closing remarks, but he's actually asking me to bring the event to a close. Thank you. So today has been nothing short of, interesting. We've shared a lot of comments, suggestions, and I'm happy that you would also agree with me. It's been more lively than other press conferences we've had. A lot of conversations have happened this morning. So thank you for that. The Nigeria Prize for Science remains a powerful platform for us that fuels the enhancement of science and technology. And we are happy that we have a winner. We have joint winners in Professor Eni Oko, Olajije Otitoju, and Meihang Wang. Meihang Wang. Their innovation underscores the fact that transformative ideas with global significance can and do originate from Nigerians. At this point, I would like to acknowledge the immense contribution of our advisory board. Professor Bat Naji, Dr. Mrs. Nike Akonde, and Professor Yusuf Abubakar. We thank you for all you do. Your dedication has ensured that the prize continues to maintain its integrity. Thank you so much. To the judges, Professor Francisca Okeke, Professor Ibrahim, and Grace Olukoye, we say thank you as well for your diligence in getting us to today. Thank you so much. Now to the media. My heartfelt thanks. We have everyone here. We're all friends. And I say thank you so much for what you've done in the last 20 years, covering this prize and the literature prize as well. You've done so well. It's known because of the work you do. And I would like to say that this year being 20 years, we are on October 4, we are going to be celebrating you, our Voices of Impact. Your letters of invitation will reach you today. We'll come together at Marriott, and we need to celebrate together. Without you, this prize would not be here today. So thank you so, so much for all you do and for all you continue to do. And of course, I'll just thank my colleagues as well. Elkanah, Margaret, Ben, Pascaline, Atisi, everyone and even those in the office, thank you so much for all you do, ensuring that the Secretariat continues to run and that we all have a good outing today. So thank you so much. As we celebrate these 2 decades, we look forward to many more, and we look forward to you coming forward with your suggestions as you've always done, because together the prize belongs to us. Thank you very much.
Before we go, did you notice when Mama Nike was talking about women, one side of the high table was bright with smiles? Did you notice? I just couldn't help seeing that. Everybody else, so the place was shone with bright lights. And that's to tell you that, we have very strong women. Yeah. Thank you very much, Maif. Let me recognize you again. And Mama Nike, thank you very much. And Prof, thank you. Profs, yes. Yes. As I said, this event is live streamed. To those watching out there, we thank you for your participation and for joining us. And at this juncture, we'll call this press conference to a close. Thank you very much. We'll see you October 4th. Thank you. Yes, please, there is a sheet of attendance going around. Please ensure that you have your name captured there. And then photos, please. Thank you. High table, again, one last photo.